Hello everyone, Core here, and today I'm revealing the 2013 and 2014 anime adaptation of Silver Spoon, brought to us by A1 Pictures. It adapts the manga from none other than Hiromo Arakawa of Fullmetal Alchemist fame. Hiromo stated that she wanted to try writing a more realistic story, and if the anime is any evidence, she certainly succeeded. Let's get started. Silver Spoon tells the coming-of-age story of Yugo Hachiken, a studious teenager who enrolls in the agricultural boarding school Yezo High in order to escape from his parents. There he meets a varied cast of characters, and through his interactions with them, ultimately grows as a person. I have a bit of a soft spot for well-told coming-of-age stories. I thoroughly enjoyed Barakamon, and Hanasako Iroha is one of my favorites. Characters are generally what I watch a show for, and watching the MC grow and develop over the course of the series is something that I really enjoy. Yugo Hachiken is a great example of overarching development done right. He's unique in his own way, and is far bolder than I'd ever be, yet possesses just the right personality traits that he's not only someone you'd aspire to imitate, but also someone you could likely relate to and emote with. Hachiken is far from perfect, which is especially clear at the series' start. His imperfections make him human, and sometimes these seeming flaws turn out not to be flaws at all. As the show continues, we're gradually revealed more information as to why Hachiken is the way he is, and what's shaped his life to this point, from his relationship with his parents to the relationship he has with his friends now. Hachiken is joined by a fairly large cast of characters. Sadly, however, it feels like a lot of the cast didn't get their proper chance to be fully explored. This isn't so much due to poor time management, but rather the lack thereof. Quite a bit of time is covered in these 22 episodes, and I wish there had been more episodes in between covering the side characters in a bit more depth. I found Aikawa and his determination to become a vet despite his weak heart to be especially interesting, and I really would have liked if that had been explored more. During the second season in particular, two characters besides Hachiken are explored in more detail, that being Aki Mikage and to a lesser extent Komoba Ichiro, who while he is nice, in this respect serves not so much as an in-depth character, but rather as an assistant for moving forward Hachiken and Mikage's development in the latter half of Season 2. Now, Mikage is a very interesting character. Roughly put, Mikage is very different from what you would first think. She has her imperfections, and by the end of the show, I found myself really caring about what happens to her. The dramatic aspects are handled realistically, such that you could really easily see yourself or a friend behaving similarly, if you or they were put in her situation, and this makes it incredibly easy to sympathize with her. Even further, I absolutely love Hachiken and Mikage's interactions, as it hits just the sweet spot at being initially cute, and then gradually progressing to a deeper level of trust and true friendship. What makes Hachiken and Mikage's dynamic so effective though, is how their character traits and flaws play off of each other. Both have their strengths and weaknesses, with quite a few being on opposite sides of the spectrum, causing this very intriguing back and forth reliability as they open up to each other and help each other out. My main problem is simply that I wanted more. I feel the show would have benefited greatly if there had been more times where we just see Hachiken and Mikage interacting with each other. The show itself is surprisingly fast-paced for a slice of life, and could have done with some slowing down on occasion. Another factor to this complaint is that their development is interrupted by the rather jarring end to the series. It felt like we were finally getting some further development on Hachiken's side, after focusing on Mikage and her problems for quite a while, and then it just ends out of absolutely nowhere. That's right folks, this is a read the manga ending. If you do watch Silver Spoon, you better be prepared for a void deeper than the Mariana Trench. Now, I'm not too irked by the fact it cuts off in this manner, as it did choose a fairly good place to stop. I don't think an anime original ending would have worked in such a short time span to resolve all the subplots. The real issue here is that the manga is not licensed. That's right, you have to rely on scanlations. Not to hate on scanlations, but their quality generally can't compare with that of official releases, and they're oftentimes very unreliable as far as a release schedule goes. It's not a massive issue, but a small negative that I wish would be alleviated. Now, I've rambled on about Hachiken and Mikage for a while, can you tell that they're some of my favorite characters, but I should at least touch on the story that takes place during the first season, where the predominant focus is Hachiken and his conflicting morals on the farm life. Put simply, it's really well done. Now that doesn't mean it's for everyone. Heck, the first time I watched it, perhaps be it lack of experience or just mood itself, I found the show pretty boring. Yet even then, I could tell I was missing something. That for some reason I couldn't enjoy it, but there was still quality there. Coming back to it quite a few months later, I find that I love this series. How it explores both sides of an issue, but never gives a direct conclusion. How it represents the feeling of working hard for something. How it talks about having a dream and working towards that. How it does everything, really. Now, let's move forward and touch on the animation for the series. Brought to us by A1 Pictures, they can make some legitimately good looking stuff. Take Soro no Woto, for instance. But from what I've seen, they also have the tendency to have massive drops in quality out of nowhere. Silver Spoon isn't the worst case among these, and for the most part is pretty consistent, but I still will never forget those hard CG cows till the day I die. Besides that, the general aesthetic doesn't stand out too much. The art style, even in the manga, was fairly simplistic, and the anime retains that. The character designs are fitting, though I will point out that Mikage's face always tends to look a bit off, like it's somewhat out of proportion or something like that. I must give them credit for the animation on the food and animals, because for the most part, it looks pretty darn impressive. There's quite a lot of detail and fluidity, and the use of still shots was rarer than I expected, though obviously not completely gone. Even on the side of the characters, there are select moments where the quality spikes up quite a bit, at the peak moments for the show, where it really matters. It's no unlimited budget works, but for the most part, it does the job pretty well. Now, I can't leave off without touching on the music, which is pretty solid overall. The OPs and EDs are all great, particularly the second ones, and the general OST has some pretty good themes. It certainly isn't the greatest, as sometimes the music felt a little too forceful in trying to convey an emotion, rather than letting the show just portray it well by itself. However, when it does work, it works really well. When the tone of the show and music match, it creates some really touching and downright inspirational moments. The music overall generally does well to fit the setting and its mood, and as far as soundtracks go, is much more memorable than most. I wouldn't call it play and repeat playlist material, but it's definitely above average. Even if they did reuse the same themes a little too much for my taste. Overall, Silver Spoon is an incredibly captivating and memorable experience, and one that I feel I could come back to again later in life and get even more out of. The interactions, development, and themes present feels real, and it was an unexpected but incredibly welcome surprise. This is one little gem I wouldn't pass up for the life of me, and one I don't think you should either. Thanks for watching, be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out.